Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers visit the residents in Leon, Mexico to check on their living conditions. We take a look at Taiwan's Child Protection Law, Article 54.1, to see how it serves to better protect children. And we meet independent bookstores owners in Taiwan and see how they help members of the public adopt better reading habits. In Mexico, Tzu Chi volunteers team up with the Catholic Church in Leon, and starting in November of 2011, have been providing meal service once a month for the impoverished residents of La Jolla. Recently, U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers visited the town to check on the residents.
A Tzu Chi's motorcade driving to the hills of La Jolla in Leon, Mexico. Volunteers see a slum made up of makeshift shacks. Due to poverty, residents here barely have enough to eat, much less the ability to keep their children in school. Thus, Tzu Chi volunteers not only bring hot meals, but also teachers to give their children a chance to turn their life around.
I teach the children the value of life. I hope they learn to be respectful and responsible so that in the future they can change their life for the better.
Volunteers also want the children to learn the meaning of filial piety, and thus arrange for them to offer tea to their parents.
When I drank the tea my child had prepared for me, there was an inexplicable feeling. I just felt so overjoyed. My child is wonderful.
I'm very glad that Tzu Chi volunteers have brought along the spirit of self-reliance. Not only did you bring supplies for our people, you also taught them to stand on their own. This will help them know that they are not poor, but can be independent and self-providing.
Though Catholicism is the predominant religion here, the volunteers' love is universal. At the Leon Sports Park, a Tzu Chi Buddha Day ceremony brings all participants peace and harmony.
I'm very grateful to be invited to attend this solemn ceremony. My heart is filled with happiness and gratitude. Your distributions not only helped people in need, but also demonstrated what giving without expectations is like.
Volunteers also took the opportunity to hand out food packs to 260 care recipients. Hopefully, with Tzu Chi's love and support, La Jolla residents can find the strength to shine bright.
Moving to Thailand, following the massive flooding at the end of 2011, Tzu Chi volunteers put together a work relief program that helped residents clean up their community. Now that the worst of the damage has been taken care of, volunteers in Nakhon Phanom are shifting their attention to the promotion of recycling and getting more local residents to join Tzu Chi.
Building on the spirit of cooperation that was laid down in the wake of the 2011 floods, a volunteer training class was organized by Tzu Chi volunteers here in Nakhon Phanom province. Today's class is attended by 60 residents, several whom are government employees.
Attending these events, we not only have learned to give freely, but how to cleanse our hearts to better work on behalf of others.
To better introduce Tzu Chi's charity work and humanitarian mission to residents here, Tzu Chi has held several classes over the past few months. Attending today's class is Ratri, who was one of those helped by Tzu Chi in the wake of the floods.
During the floods, Tzu Chi was there for me. I was moved by the fact that those offering help were in fact worse off than I. It was something that I had never encountered before.
Although I'm not that healthy, I really want to be a volunteer. For the rest of my life, I want to accompany the Tzu Chi volunteers as they help others.
Those who sign up to become a volunteer range from seniors to housewives. For these new recruits, volunteers lay out a plan to promote recycling here in Nakhon Phanom.
We got a good response from our first class. I am confident that the number of local volunteers here in Nakhon Phanom will grow quickly. We also hope to use community recycling days to get more people to join us.
At the end of the day, those attending are ready to take the next step in implementing Tzu Chi's ideals in their communities and lives.
In Taiwan's Taipei, a training workshop for young volunteers of Jingsi Books and Cafe was held on June 2nd. In this workshop, staff members test young volunteers' understanding of Jingsi products and encourage them to continue their efforts in learning Jingsi aphorisms.
Answering the questions are the young volunteers of the Jinsi Books and Cafe. Though they are still young, they are already important helping hands in the shop. Some of them can even recite Buddhist lore.
Magdalena's mother fell into hell because she didn't respect the three treasures. To save his mother, Magdalena went to hell to find her.
This is Lin Da-xiong, who has helped at the Jinsi Books and Cafe since he was 4. Now a second grader, he says his favorite books are the volumes of Master Zheng Yan's Jinsi aphorisms.
Master Zheng Yan's Jinsi aphorisms really moved me. To be more mindful and put in more effort.
As well, young volunteer Xie Niantong is able to tell apart each edition of Jinsi aphorisms.
There are children's editions, Chinese editions, and Chinese-English editions of the Jinsi aphorisms. They all include CDs. Jinsi aphorisms have a first, second, and third volume, as well as a collector's edition with the blue case.
In this workshop, these young volunteers showcase their talents and potential for being Tzu Chi ambassadors to the world.
In 2011, a horrible child abuse case in New Taipei City, Taiwan shocked the country and led to the Child Protection Law, Article 54(1). Here's the story of Wang Hao.
Oh, the birds are so cute. The 3 of them are so big already. Oh, the mama bird is upset.
Seeing new life in the yard brings hope for the future. However, Wang Hao's life was taken away when he was 2 years old on November 2011.
We didn't know that Wang Hao's mother brought him along to live with that drug addict Liu Jinlong.
From the surveillance camera footage, Liu Jinlong can be seen with Wang Hao covered in clothes under his arms. When Liu abandoned the little one at the hospital's emergency room, the boy was already dead. What's worse was that the little boy's skull was deformed, the bridge of his nose was cracked, and his fingers had cut so deep that the whites of his bones could be seen. Even the more senior investigators could not believe someone could be so cruel to a child.
I heard Xu Guanshou say that Liu Jinlong threw Hao Hao against the wall, and that Hao Hao fainted after impact.
A hammer for beating and pliers to pull off fingernails. It's not difficult to imagine the torture the young boy endured when he was alive. When the toddler was endlessly crying, the defendants decided to inject the boy with heroin. This was the shot that ended Wang Hao's life.
Just because they discussed how large of a dose to give Hao Hao, so they didn't really want him to die? What person doesn't know you're not supposed to give drugs to kids? How can judges conclude that to be rational human behavior?
And thus Liu's sentence changed from a death penalty to 30 years in jail. The child abuse case shocked Taiwan when it broke. But digging deeper into its origins, it was revealed that New Taipei City social workers conducted many home visitations at the boy's home. Yet the tragedy still happened. Why?
They said because only his father's in jail, so Hao Hao is not considered to be in a high-risk family.
After he entered prison, the information did not reach the other departments.
If he's not a high-risk family, then why did you guys do home visitations?
We conduct visitations on a regular basis to understand each family's situation.
No matter what the explanations are, the pain of losing a loved one cannot be resolved.
After I heard about the torture that Hao Hao went through,
no amount of tears can bring a person back to life. But the death of Wang Hao was not in vain. Due to Wang Weijun's hard work in the past year, she has successfully amended child protection rights. Article 54(1), known commonly as the Wang Hao provision, states if parents or custodians is in the police custody related to drug charges, investigation into their children's living condition and care is automatic.
This amendment helps the police or related departments to be proactive in reporting child protection cases.
weeks ago, a Chinese bubble made a nest here. Last week when it rained heavily, I was afraid the eggs would get wet, so I put up an umbrella for them.
Wang Weijun puts up an umbrella to shield the baby birds from the elements, much like her advocacy of the Wang Hao provision, as she hopes to prevent more children from ending up like her nephew.
In Japan, local Tziqings organized a campaign to promote environmentalism at a Tzu Chinese class. They not only designed props to spark the children's interest, but also created catchy slogans to help the adults remember the practice of energy conservation and carbon reduction.
Here at Tzuji's Chinese class in Tokyo, local Tziqings have designed catchy phrases and props to promote environmentalism.
This prop is movable. This is saving water, saving electricity, saving gasoline, and saving time and money.
To better promote environmentalism, Tziqings also seized the opportunity to introduce the 5 Savings campaign to the adults of the Chinese class.
I also hope to build up more stamina. I will try my best to go on foot so that I can save more energy.
Basically, I will avoid taking trains or driving. I will ride a bicycle or go on foot.
Following this campaign, Tziqings plan to collect bottle caps to show everyone the benefits of doing recycling.
In Batam, Indonesia, under the inviting of Tziqings, a group of youngsters recently volunteered at the local recycling station to learn how to sort recyclables. This experience proved to be rewarding as the youngsters learn how to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
As they stretch and pull to warm up, these youngsters are getting themselves ready for a day of recycling work in Batam, Indonesia. The inconspicuous PET bottles and paper have suddenly become valuable items in their hands. Despite the hot weather, everyone finds the experience to be rewarding.
Going forward, I will reduce the use of plastic bags and recycle.
I realize now that I wasted a lot before, especially paper which could have been reused. From now on, I will practice recycling.
The concept of turning garbage into gold, explained by the Tziqings, was deeply embedded in everyone's mind.
We hope that after taking part in this activity, they can implement it into their daily lives and let it become a way of life.
As everyone writes their aspiration on a Bodhi leaf, it also symbolizes a start and a commitment to adopting a greener lifestyle.
In Malaysia, volunteer Sun Fu-lian lost his wife in a car accident in 2008. Bereaved with sadness, it wasn't until hearing Master Zheng Yan's teaching on DaAi TV that he finally came to terms with his wife's death. Since then, Sun has devoted himself wholeheartedly to practicing recycling.
The family portraits are the only items left for Sun Fu-lian to reminisce her wife by. An accident 4 years ago took the life of Sun's wife, and it wasn't until hearing Master Zheng Yan's word of wisdom on DaAi TV that brought him out of sadness.
When the time has come to part, your loved ones will pass on. It's inevitable. So we shouldn't dwell in sadness, but rather open our hearts and give them our blessings.
Sun tunes in to DaAi TV every day and dedicates himself to recycling work, leading his community by example in safeguarding the environment.
We still have 2 or 3 stops to make.
Making many trips back and forth, Sun's car is always loaded with recyclables collected from his neighbors, whom are unable to make the delivery themselves. Sun's actions soon moved Han Chunchen.
He does a lot. When I first met him, he also came to pick up recyclable in this car.
Brother Fu-lian is very responsible. His day always starts very early. Seeing him give selflessly, we also want to follow in his footsteps.
Letting go of his sorrow, Sun Fu-lian once again found his smile and happiness through giving.
Next, we meet independent bookstores owner Wang Liping and Liao Yingliang and take a look at how the two use their own ways to help the general public adopt better reading habits and spread humanistic values far and wide in their local communities. Walking along the alley in Huwei Town, Yunlin County, one sees a Japanese-era building from the 1940s. However, the interior of this building is full of European style.
These are from England and are really old. These were handmade more than 100 years ago.
This is bookstore owner Wang Liping, who is a former legislator. After retiring from her political life, Wang came across this old building that changed her life.
I really like old houses and drinking tea. I will die if I don't drink tea. I am always concerned about women's rights and love to collect beautiful antiques. 4 years ago, I found this place and decided to combine all my passions together.
Maybe it was love at first sight. For Wang Liping, this bookstore is not only the combination of her dreams, but also a place where members of the public can nurture good reading habits. On the bookshelves, one sees books that touch on social and cultural issues.
In the past, when I was in mainstream society, I was taught to think that Yunlin is a rural area and a cultural desert. But I don't agree to the stereotype anymore.
With the development of internet technology, the use of online shopping to purchase books has rapidly increased in Taiwan. However, there are still many independent bookstores island-wide that are fighting for survival in the competitive book market. This is Liao Yingliang, who also comes from Yunlin County. 18 years ago, Liao and his friend decided to take over the ownership of this bookshop located near Taichung's Donghai University.
A bookstore is like a community or the eyes of the community. Through a shop, customers can see the world around them, and without a store, all you see is the same thing all the time. I opened the bookstore in hopes of delivering knowledge to the general public. Unfortunately, most of the time, all I think about is how to stay in business.
It is no doubt that money has become the primary factor in the survival of an independent bookstore. As large quantities of books are purchased by retailers or online bookstores, publishers were offered discounts ranging from 40 to 45% off the retail price. Once the books are on the bookshelves, publishers receive money on a monthly basis after the books are sold. On the other hand, independent bookstores do not have the same privileges. Instead of purchasing directly from publishers, independent bookshops have to go through resellers that will only offer discounts ranging from 30 to 35%. In the end, the profit made from each book is about 5 to 10%, which is less than selling a cup of coffee.
Remote areas need to have bookstores, but in reality, bookstores can't survive in these areas. Nowadays, if you travel out of town, you can feel that bookshops are having difficulty staying in business.
Facing these problems, many independent bookshops in Taiwan have closed down. Liao Yingliang says to stay in business, independent bookstores have to specialize and bond with the local community.
We need to develop good reading habits in the general public. So it is important to have independent bookstores or any other kind of bookstore around the island.
Other than offering social interaction, which technology can never offer, independent bookstores in Taiwan also focus on spreading humanistic values in local community. It seems that these 2 points have become one of the keys to their survival in the competitive book market. Lee Chen-han, an architecture major of Danjiang University, recently finished a makeover for a rundown home in Sanzhi district of New Taipei City, as he hopes to do something special for his graduation presentation. However, the project turned out to be more than just a simple renovation.
The main being of this dilapidated home in Sanzhi of New Taipei City was infested with termites. The roof had a big hole which was covered up by a tarpaulin. The electric wires had long shorted out. Most would declare this a condemned house, but it was the only shelter of 93-year-old Grandma Chen. However, some 30 young people came together and spent 10 months to give this rundown shack a makeover just like on TV. The initiator of the project was Li Chenhan, an architecture major of the nearby Damgong University. This was to be his graduation presentation, but he first had to gain Grandma Chen's trust.
Grandma Chen at first was quite apprehensive, for she was, how should I put this? She was afraid that I would ruin her home.
The renovation proved to be much more complex than expected. After numerous setbacks, Li finally raised some $7,000 needed for the project. When all was said and done, the difference was night and day.
When the whole renovation was over, Grandma Chen was quite happy. At first, we weren't that close, but now she treats me like her own grandchild.
The project would not have been possible without many kind-hearted internet surfers who volunteered to be the construction crew. Li's graduation presentation not only demonstrated his architectural prowess, but also proved there is still abundant compassion in the world.
In Taiwan's Taichung City, marketing major at Fengjia University recently organized a charity fashion show in which they model and showcase their very own designs. Teachers and students were invited to attend the show, and a portion of proceeds from the event will be donated to Tzu Chi.
Taking the catwalk, students of Fengjia University's marketing department are proudly showcasing and modeling their very own designs. By combining marketing and charity, a portion of the proceeds made from the sale of these clothes will be donated to Tzu Chi.
It's the duty of this generation to pay the love forward. We take it upon ourselves to contribute to society.
If we plant a tree sapling and nurture it, it will gradually grow into a tree. And I believe that the tree will spread more seeds, because from one seed will grow many more.
From the layout of the display window to the items inside, all of it is the students' own work. A donation box has also been placed in front of the display to kindle the compassion of passers-by.
It's great to be able to contribute to society.
We encourage students to come visit us during their break time and join our cause.
I saw a love, passion, and professionalism displayed by our students in this process.
By combining marketing and charity, students gain the opportunity to contribute to society.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show. To help the homeless enjoy the upcoming Dragon Boat festivals, the government of New Taipei City offered them a place to shower, free haircut services, pocket money, and glutinous rice dumplings. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.